All right, welcome to the final match of the Maine Invitational Scratch Tournament on December 11th, 2016 at Sparetime Recreation in Lewiston, Maine. I'm your tournament director, James Goulding, and with me in the booth I have fellow Brunswick staffer Jimmy Clark, who competed in the tournament today.
How we doing, guys? Yeah, we had to hold on the World Championship pattern.
Yeah,
today.
PBA World Championship pattern.
41 feet. Played a little tricky, but if you got lined up, you could definitely strike. Some of these guys here struck a lot.
Yeah, they did, Jimmy. Obviously, Joe Ramsdell III, our top seed. Joe Colcord was our number 3 seed. Came up through, won his last 2 matches. Beat Jalen Scott Jones in the first match, 214 to 175. Beat Valerie Bercier, 228 to 203 in the semifinal. Setting up a Battle of the Titans here in the final match.
As you say, the Battle of the Titans for M.I.S.T here. This is actually their first meeting this year.
Yep.
It's going to be the first tournament, M.I.S.T tournament, that has a Maine resident win it, which is awesome to show the talent we've got coming.
Fantastic talent today, and all season really. And so, first squad today was at 8:30 this morning. We had 28 bowlers, 7 bowlers qualified, and we actually had a couple records set on that squad. We had our top seed was Parker Tebow, who was actually one of our youth bowlers and also becomes the youngest bowler to ever cash in our M.I.S.T tournament at 14 years of age. So congratulations to Parker. Second qualifier from that squad was Darren Martin. Third was Jim Williams. Fourth, Shane McFarland, another youth bowler. He's only 15 years old.
Yeah, the youth's coming up. Just to touch on Shane, he won 3 junior golds already here in Maine.
Yeah, very impressive young man. Very impressive. Put this time in. 5th qualifier on that squad, Jimmy Clark. 6th was Chris Goulette, yet another youth bowler.
The youth was showing up pretty good today.
And 7th was Anthony White. So those were our 7 qualifiers from the 8:30 squad.
MMA shit going on.
Well, it happens sometimes. You never know late in the day at the bowling alley. You never know what kind of tomfoolery is going to happen.
But we got plenty of people. We got 15, 20 people sitting around
This is
still
great.
watching.
Yeah, it's good to have everyone watch, cheer on these bowlers. So the second squad, we had another 28 bowlers and 7 qualified for our elimination round. Top seed on that round was Joe Ramsdell III with a 975. Second was Joe Colcord, 1 pin behind him with a 974. So no surprise that these 2 bowlers are bowling in the final match. They bowled great all day. Third qualifier from that squad was Valerie Bercier. 4th was Katie Barnes. 5th was Jalen Scott Jones, who goes to Weber International. So obviously not exactly a bad bowler himself. Great, throws the ball fantastic. Lefty, straps on it pretty good. Really good little bowler.
Yeah, real good player.
6th was Tyler Copeland, and 7th was Mike Simba.
Pretty impressive. These 2 guys here made something that looked a little tricky come out and average over 240.
I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? So right now, we look at the scores. We have Joe Colcord out. Ooh, big 4-6-7 split. Joe Ramsdell started with the first 2. So, Joe Colcord is going to find himself in a little bit of a hole. If he gets 2 on this count here, he'll be down 32 pins possibly if Joe comes up and strikes.
Very true. Joe being on the pair so far for 2 games, I wonder if he just kind of got caught with a little transition or if he didn't feel good.
Yeah, hard to say, Jimmy, really. I mean, I guess only he knows at this point, but we'll see if he gets the count here. And obviously, Joe early in the match certainly got to go for the count there rather than try to bounce something off the wall and only take 1.
Yeah, Joe bowled real well. He actually threw the first 2 in a row, the last game of qualifying, game 4. I believe he got the single pin, shot 289.
Yeah, he did. It was fantastic. So, our 14 bowlers have made it to the eliminator round. Bowled that 1-game eliminator. 7 advanced. The 7 who advanced out of that eliminator were Jalen Scott Jones. He had a 471 2-game total. Then Valerie Bercier with a 469. Katie Barnes, 453. Joe Ramsdell III with 453. Joe Colcord, 444. Jimmy Clark, 423. And Darren Martin, 421. And paying out spots, 8 through 14. We had Tyler Copeland finishing 8th. Parker Tebow, again, we talked about him being our youngest youth bowler to ever cash. He finished in 9th place. Mike Simba was 10th. Chris Goulette was 11th. Anthony White 12th. Jim Williams 13th. And Shane McFarland rounded out the top 14 today.
I believe Chris Goulette might have actually been the highest finishing junior. something to check for you. I know Jacob Arzuski, I believe, is the other one junior that made the cut here at the M.I.S.T.
Yep.
Not exactly sure how high of a place he finished.
Yep. Parker finished 9th today. Chris Goulet was 11th, and Shane was 14th.
Okay, so Parker would be.
So Parker was the highest,
very well,
9th
very
place.
well.
Yep. It was amazing to watch these kids kind of come into their own today. It was fantastic. And then you have some of the other young talent, you know, guys like Jalen Scott Jones coming to us. Bowl today. Both fantastic.
Katie Barnes is another
Katie Barnes, another good young bowler.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You got the girls showing up, bowling really well. Katie Barnes and Valerie. First year both. I mean, Valerie's a veteran here now.
Yeah.
She's always competing. It's almost when she walks in the building, you know, there's one spot gone.
Absolutely, and that's a good feeling to have when you're a competitor with the kind of confidence in the game that she has, for sure. Let's see. So, you know, Joe Ramsdell didn't quite take advantage of as much as he could have off that open. Colcord struck in the third, so he carries a 21-pin lead through 3 frames. So it's, you know, still a close match right now, early on. It's kind of interesting to see Joe Ramsdell playing this pair. There was one lefty ahead of him the very first match here. But
being Jalen, who is a higher rev, you know, guy out there, so he manipulated the lane pattern a lot. I know he was putting a little surface on a couple balls during practice.
Yep.
So how much, we'll see. And for where Joe is, he very well could help him.
Yep. And to get to the stepladder finals, after that second eliminator round, we had Joe Ramsdell III was top qualifier with 690. Second, Valerie Bercier, 679. Third, Joe Colcord, 672. And fourth, Jalen Scott Jones with 667. So finishing in 5th place today was Katie Barnes. 6th place was Darren Martin. And rounding out our top 7 today was Jimmy Clark.
Yeah, I failed to take advantage of, excuse me, the pair that we were on. Set up. Joe Colcord and I were actually on the same pair. Kind of looking in the same position, both being a good game. The pair set up pretty good. Didn't throw the ball very well. Joe did very well, actually. He missed a single pin, but I think that single pin miss lighted a little fire under him. So I believe he threw 6 in a row, if not 5 baggered and single pinned, to finish 228 to move himself up into the top 4. So good to see it. Sometimes it takes an unfortunate thing to motivate you.
Oh, so for sure, Jimmy. That's 100% accurate.
It looks like lane 12 is getting a little tricky now on Joe. I'm going to assume he felt he threw that last shot on that lane good when he 4-6-7. It looks like he made a little adjustment in, and that one just didn't quite go. So the 2-pin here, though, that's the kind of the trick for most people here, with these two being the exception, is to kind of keep your misses, to leave the pins in groups so you can make spares. And if you got the chance to throw some strikes, take advantage. Make sure you're filling frames. So Joe covers it up.
Yeah, good nice spare there. You know, you want to stay clean. Obviously, he needs to make up some pins, but you know, staying clean isn't the worst thing at this point because you never know when your opponent could get up there and open on you either on this type of oil pattern. So
for sure, he's got to take advantage of this lane. This lane's been his good lane so far.
Absolutely.
He's probably scratching his head a little bit on 12. Joe's pretty good. He'll make some sort of little tweak over on that pair to. He's good. He'll make that lane work.
So while we have a minute, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Brunswick Bowling, who provided us with a Mastermind Strategy bowling ball, which was won today by Josh Duarte. I'd like to also thank Ace Mitchell and Vinny Brazen for supplying us a PBA Grudge Hybrid today, which was won by Darren Martin. He was very excited to win that ball.
I had actually went to lunch with Darren, and we talked about the ball raffle, and he's like, man, I'd really like to win that Grudge Hybrid. We come back from lunch. Within 10 minutes, he won the Grudge Hybrid.
So you never know. It's always good to get in that raffle. I'd like to also thank Moore's Pro Shop for sponsoring our Bowl of the Year competition, where I work, Jimmy works, Scott Moore owns a shop. We're right here at Lewiston, Maine at Sparetime Recreation. You can set up your appointments. Jimmy also does coaching lessons. He's a USBC Silver Level Certified Coach. I highly recommend Jimmy's coaching. He coaches my daughter exclusively, and she does pretty well for herself, so definitely hook yourself up with some lessons from Jimmy if you want to improve your game.
Yeah,
and then come see us and drill some equipment.
That's right. One-stop shop, can get it all. So Joe there takes advantage of a little hit on that 7-pin. I don't think he counted that one when he let go of it.
I don't think he did either, Jimmy. You're right.
He's pretty excited to put a double up there.
And by excited, he almost practiced smile, but not quite.
I almost think I saw a fist pump. He might have been grabbing his rosin bag, but I think he might have fist pumped.
I'd also like to thank Twisted Tees. They're one of our new sponsors this season. Doing custom t-shirts. They make a custom designed t-shirt for our tournament winners this year. You can get a hold of Lisa Austin at 629-8125, area code 207. They actually designed and helped some of the Brunswick hoodies we have now, which are fantastic apparel. I also like to thank Joe Kenny and Maine Clockworks for providing clocks for all of our tournament winners.
Look at him.
So thank you very much to Joe Kenny and Maine Clockworks. You can find them on Facebook to get their information.
We know Joe Ramsdell is a big fan of the clocks. I think he won 4 of them last year.
Yeah, I think he's got one for every room in his house at this point. So also like to thank John Belvoy for providing the knockout ball cleaner, which was won by Alyssa Parker, one of our youth bowlers today. She was pretty excited about that. And also like to thank bowlingchat.net and my buddy Eric Morit for providing web space for us to put up our tournament results.
We end up with 5 junior bowlers here today.
Yes, we did. 5 junior bowlers and 3 of them cash. So
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Pretty good percentage, 60%. Nice shot there by Joe.
Joe just decided he was going to throw it pure.
Absolutely. He hit that double, especially on that lane, Jimmy. He has no shot if he can't hit that lane this match.
100%. He's going to have to go with strike.
I got one.
So my teammate Mike DeSimone is here too, hanging out. Mike, you bowled the tournament. I know you didn't qualify, but what things did you find that you struggled with a little bit? Okay, what did you find for the shot for you?
Well, for me it was more speed than anything. With my lower rev rate, for me I had to slow the ball down, just try to get it to react off the spot. And for me, what that comes with that is that I'm not as accurate. So. I struggled a lot with accuracy, a lot with ball placement, and spare conversion actually. The left-hand side spares with the volume of oil in the middle caused me a lot of problems. Just used to the league shot where you can hook it right at the spares, and it was not the case today. You know, I missed a lot of spares right, so that was kind of where I faltered. You know, definitely scoring was out there if you could hit your mark, but. You know, you miss your mark, you're not going to score.
So that's just it. You know, you talk about 50 frames. I mean, if you go strike, open strike, as opposed to strike, spare strike, you cost yourself 11 pins just in one frame. So, you know, those spares are huge, and you're not always going to throw the 3 or 4 behind it to make up the difference. So
that's for sure. And the idea to make most of the cuts at almost any of these tournaments is to fill frames. I believe this is one of the first tournaments we've had where the cuts have been more to the plus side, or really close.
Yeah, a little higher. I mean, you know, it ended up at the end of the day, I mean, first squad, obviously, was a lower cut. We had minus 37 to get in for 4. But
sure, it almost looked this morning that the lanes played a little tighter. It didn't hook as much as the second squad. How much? Hard to say.
Do you think that's a byproduct of them basically re-oiling between squads and maybe freshening those back up ends up a little bit?
I think that's a big thing. I do. I really do. I think once lanes, especially, you know, the lanes get warmed up first thing in the morning, the lane beds are cold. We are here in Maine. It was, I think, 4 degrees when we showed up.
It was brutal this morning. It was chilly.
So when everybody gets out of the building, the thermostat takes over and this place gets a little colder. The lanes aren't as warm. It's just like anything. As things warm up, they get more friction.
Absolutely.
So as the lanes get played on and the balls go down, we create friction. Friction's a friend. So between 2 strips within 3 hours and the lanes being warmed up, yeah, the second squad should have been a little bit higher scoring.
Yep.
And it was.
And, you know, you have different bowlers on that squad, so scoring pace is always altered anytime you don't have the same exact set of bowlers on any squad. So
Sure.
It definitely makes a difference.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. The bowlers that bowl on the lanes always make a big difference. You put a pattern out and how it gets manipulated depends on how it scores. You could go play on all the lanes after they get bowled on, they're all going to play extremely different because you have different bowlers on them.
Absolutely.
Different bowling balls, different rev rates. The variables that go into the game are a little crazy, so we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
So Joe showed a little life to other Joe, and left him a little spare. Not that it's close, but at least it's a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, let's reset the scores for everyone listening here. Joe Ramsdell III just struck there, gives him 168 in the 7th with a strike in the 8th. Joe Colcord has 117 in the 6th with a spare in the 7th. So basically it's a 31-pin match right now. And there's really the only way that Joe Colcord has a chance is if he takes this right off the sheet.
He has to strike.
He's got to go off the sheet at this point. 31-pin deficit. Joe Ramsdell shows no sign of slowing down. So
no, he looks like he's not going to miss the pocket. So it's going to be a matter of a really bad break for any falter in Mr. Ramsdell.
I'd also like to take a minute and thank Tom Gibberti and all of his staff here at Sparetime in Lewiston. Did a good job. We had one pair of lanes, 9 and 10, that had an issue, but luckily that was before we started, so we had a breakdown pair already built in. We used that pair, and Clyde out back did a great job for us, keeping everything running, and went pretty smooth, both squads after that, so I'd like to thank them for really helping us out there.
It was a great shot for Joe.
Absolutely. Huge shot.
He's in a must strike. Not that it's a lot of pressure, especially with how much experience these two guys have. But anytime you can strike before to get the match going,
it's actually it's kind of funny when we talk about who has a better look on what lane. I was talking to Joe Ramsdell before the match started, asking him what went into his thinking process for selecting whether he wanted to start a match or finish a match, or if he had a lane preference, if he liked one lane better than the other. His preference was that he just wanted to finish the match first. He didn't care what lane it was, what look it was. He wanted to get up there, post the score, and force his opponent to put a number up, which is kind of interesting. Everyone looks at that a little bit differently, but it was kind of interesting to look into his thought process as to why he chose it that way.
100%, and again, each bowler is different. Some people want to either finish first, or finish last, or finish on a certain lane. I myself, it depends on the situation. If I find one lane better than the other, I'm going to want to finish on that lane.
Yeah, and sometimes, you want to, go by lane if you have a significant difference in ball reaction where you have a much better look. And sometimes you want to be the one to either post a shot, or you want that pressure on you to be the guy that comes up in the 10th and finishes the match. So it's very interesting, the different scenarios that play out as to why different guys. But I've seen Joe take this strategy before. I've seen him in enough final matches. He almost always, when he's a top seed, will choose to finish the match first. And that's just the way he likes to do it.
And it could be something that he just likes to throw 2 shots at a time every time.
That could be too. He doesn't seem to care which lane he's finishing or starting on.
No.
Doesn't seem to really go into his thought process much.
Barring disaster here, Joe just stays clean. This match is done.
Yep. I mean, he strikes here, it's definitely over. There's nothing that Joe Colcord can do. Alright, the 7 pin, got to cover it. Still got to stay clean here. Not the easiest spare. I mean, it's a single pin, but, I bowled against Joe Ramsdell on Tuesday night. Was it last week? We bowled him last week?
Yeah.
And he was having all kinds of 7-pin issues, so we'll put it this way. I didn't bowl the greatest, but I still beat him by 40 sticks for the night, so he was having a rough night. So they can be missed. We all have those times. But Joe normally like that great spare shooter, so I fully expected him with the pressure on to make that spare, and he did. So now he basically just kind of keep it on the lane here. The best that Joe Colcord can do is 207 if he strikes out. Joe's already at 198 plus count, so basically 5 pins. 5 pins.
Stay behind the line and keep it on the lane. So is the bet that he's nervous and he'll throw it straight down the middle?
Guarantee he won't. He's not the guy who takes it and just throws it hard and straight. He will throw this where he wants to throw it. I guarantee it. Oh, good thing he didn't need a mark.
Wow.
That's enough though, folks. Pocket 710, but that is enough. That would have been interesting if that happened in the 9th instead of the 10th though, Jimmy.
For sure. Then you have to get up and throw it really good to mark again after throwing one pretty decent and getting 710.
I'd love to see him give this a ride though. Make this.
He has made it.
Give it a highlight reel.
2 or 3 times.
Oh, you got a little bounce, but it bounced right back into the gutter. So good job there by Joe Ramsdell III, winning his first title of the 2016-2017 season. Posting up a nice score there of, what did he end up with, 215, something like that? 215? And Joe Colcord, I'm sure he'll get up there and throw a couple good shots, because even in a loss, you can still learn something. Even in the last frame of the last game you're going to throw, you never know.
Yeah, he'll just get up, do his thing.
Yep.
He'll strike. It's over.
Yep. And again, thank you to all the bowlers who came out today. We had 56 entries. Our next M.I.S.T tournament will be January 8th in Raymond, New Hampshire at Strikers East Bowling Center. We'll get the information out on that pretty soon.
The first time the M.I.S.T has left the state.
Absolutely. We've had
Very
people.
exciting.
It is exciting. We've had some centers reach out to us and want us to expand a little bit, and we're going to try it down there and see how it goes. So I'm pretty excited to get down there, and we get a lot of support from out-of-state bowlers. I mean, it's nice to have the support from our in-state bowlers. Obviously, we appreciate them too. But the amount of bowlers we got traveling up here, kind of rewards them for helping us out a little bit too. Gets us up a little closer. So.
Raymond being a little bit bigger center as well.
Over here.
We should be able to have a bigger turnout, get some more people in there.
Yep. So just some
interesting to
closing thoughts here today, Jimmy, on the tournament. What do you have to say to wrap it up?
I think things went good today. It's good to see the Maine guys back on top. Just because we're the home guys, it's fun to have. But it's pretty good that we've got all these people coming, the good young talent that's qualifying. Guys come out and bowl. That's what we do. Raymond, New Hampshire is the next one. We're getting closer.
Yep.
Getting a little farther south, bigger centers, more people, bigger prize funds. They're challenging shots, even though these two made it easy.
All right.
Play.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. For Jimmy Clark, I'm James Goulding III. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time in Raymond, New Hampshire.